how other people talk in English. Leo often watched, captivated, as others spoke English effortlessly. Their words flowed like a calm river, distinct from his own hesitant stream. He marveled at their confidence, their easy laughter, and their natural pauses. He desperately wanted to emulate that smooth, unburdened communication, feeling a keen sense of envy deep within his aspiring heart. It seemed like a secret code he hadn't yet cracked. He observed how other people talk in English, noting their idiomatic expressions and subtle nuances. They conversed with an innate rhythm he longed to possess, their voices rising and falling in perfect sync. Each conversation seemed a ballet of words, while his felt more like a clumsy stumble. He yearned for that natural grace in his own spoken English. Every interaction was a stark reminder of his struggles. He would internally compare his laborious sentence construction to their seemingly instant articulation. Why did it come so easily to them, yet feel like such a monumental task for him? This silent observation fueled both his desire and his profound frustration, a constant battle within. His goal was clear: to master how to talk in English with similar fluidity. He envisioned himself engaging in lively debates, sharing stories without hesitation, and simply being understood without effort. This vision, however, felt miles away from his present reality, a distant dream that seemed almost unattainable, yet beckoned him forward relentlessly. His daily day's struggle was a constant companion. Mornings often began with a heavy sigh, anticipating the linguistic hurdles ahead. Even simple tasks like ordering coffee could induce a wave of anxiety, fearing mispronunciation or misunderstanding. The weight of his language barrier often felt suffocating, a silent battle fought within himself each waking hour. The most prominent fear was making mistakes. "I don't want to make mistake, but I always why," he'd lament silently after every botched attempt. A wrong verb tense, an awkward phrase, or a misplaced preposition would echo in his mind for hours, eroding his confidence. The fear of error became a paralyzing force, a significant impediment. Each error felt like a personal failure, a stark advertisement of his inadequacy. He questioned his ability, his learning methods, even his very intelligence. Why did he consistently stumble over words others uttered so naturally? This self-doubt was a relentless tormentor, a constant whisper undermining his resolve and making progress seem impossible. He sought answers on how to learn English, devouring articles and watching countless YouTube videos. The internet offered a bewildering array of tips and tricks, promising rapid improvement. He felt like a detective, sifting through clues, hoping to uncover the magic formula that would unlock the fluency he so desperately craved. It was an overwhelming pursuit. One recurring piece of advice stood out: listen English relentlessly. It sounded simple, yet he wondered if it was truly the key. Could merely listening unlock the complexities of a new language? He decided to commit, to immerse himself in the sounds, rhythms, and intonations of English, hoping for a breakthrough from this consistent practice. He started listening during his commute, while cooking, and before sleep. Podcasts, news broadcasts, and engaging audiobooks became his constant companions. At first, much of it blurred into an unintelligible stream, a frustrating cacophony of foreign sounds. Yet, he persisted, trying to discern individual words and phrases amidst the rapid flow of speech. Then came the crucial step: listen and practice. He realized that passive listening wasn't enough. He needed to actively engage with the language, to try to replicate what he heard. This insight was a turning point, transforming his approach from mere consumption to active participation, setting him on a more dynamic learning path. He began shadowing, repeating phrases immediately after hearing them. It felt awkward, almost foolish, at first. His tongue stumbled, his pronunciation imperfect. But he persisted, trying to mimic the exact cadence and stress of the native speakers. This active practice was challenging, yet he sensed a subtle shift in his articulation. His next focus was how to improve your fluency. It wasn't just about speaking accurately, but speaking smoothly and naturally. He began paying attention to connected speech, elisions, and reductions, the subtle ways native speakers linked words together, making their speech flow seamlessly. This observation became a new point of study. He practiced linking words, saying gonna instead of going to, and wanna for want to. These small adjustments, initially difficult, started making his speech sound more authentic. The artificial stiffness he felt began to melt away, replaced by a growing sense of naturalness. It was an exciting, albeit slow, transformation. He also dedicated time to how to talk in English through guided conversations. Online language exchange partners became invaluable resources. They offered a safe space to practice, to make mistakes, and to receive constructive feedback without judgment. These interactions built his confidence, little by little, one conversation at a time. Still, the fear of making mistakes lingered. "I don't want to make mistake, but I always why," echoed in his head before every interaction. His heart would pound, palms would sweat. It was an invisible battle, fought not against the language itself, but against his own deeply ingrained fear of imperfection. Yet, he pushed through. Each mistake, though painful, became a lesson. He started recording himself speaking, listening back critically to identify areas for improvement. This self-assessment was uncomfortable, but immensely effective, providing concrete evidence of his progress and highlighting persistent linguistic challenges for focused practice. He realized that how to improve your English wasn't a sprint but a marathon. There were days of incredible progress and days of frustrating setbacks. Some days, words just wouldn't come out right, leading to deep disappointment. Other days, he'd effortlessly express complex ideas, feeling a surge of triumph. His daily day's struggle continued, but its nature began to change. It was less about paralyzing fear and more about persistent effort. He accepted that fluency wasn't about perfection, but about effective communication. This shift in mindset was profound, liberating him from the relentless pursuit of an impossible ideal. He embraced the process of listen and practice with renewed vigor. He diversified his listening materials, from academic lectures to casual street interviews. His ears became more attuned to different accents and speaking speeds, expanding his comprehension abilities significantly, preparing him for a wider range of real-world interactions. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, he began to notice a difference in how other people talk in English. He wasn't just hearing words, he was understanding the subtle emotional cues, the unspoken meanings, and the cultural context. This deeper comprehension made his own responses more natural and appropriate, enhancing his overall communication. His internal question, "I don't want to make mistake but I always why," started to fade. He realized that mistakes were not failures, but stepping stones. Every error pointed to an area needing more practice, a specific grammatical rule to revisit, or a pronunciation point to refine. They became valuable feedback loops. He learned to laugh at his own blunders, finding humor in his linguistic mishaps. This self-compassion was crucial, transforming the learning process from a daunting chore into an enjoyable adventure. The pressure to be perfect dissipated, replaced by a genuine curiosity and excitement for continuous improvement and linguistic discovery. His confidence blossomed. He no longer shied away from opportunities to talk in English. Instead, he actively sought them out, eager to test his growing abilities and apply what he had learned. Each successful conversation, no matter how brief, fueled his motivation and solidified his belief in his progress. He started to feel the rhythm of English in his own voice, not just in others. The words weren't just translated thoughts anymore, they were becoming spontaneous expressions. This was the fluency he had dreamed of, a seamless connection between his mind and his spoken words, a true breakthrough moment. He understood that how to learn English was an ongoing journey, not a destination. There would always be new vocabulary, new idioms, and new cultural nuances to discover. The learning never truly stopped, but the initial pain and struggle had transformed into a joyful exploration, a continuous adventure. His transformation was a testament to the power of consistent listen and practice. He had turned his fear into fuel, his mistakes into lessons, and his daily struggle into a triumphant narrative of perseverance. He was living proof that dedication and the right strategies could yield remarkable results, truly inspiring. He now frequently engaged in conversations with ease, discussing complex topics he once avoided. The words flowed, not perfectly, but intelligibly and confidently. This newfound ability brought immense satisfaction, opening doors to new friendships and professional opportunities, expanding his world in unforeseen ways, truly life-changing. His journey showed that how to improve your fluency was deeply intertwined with mindset. Letting go of the fear of judgment and embracing imperfection were as crucial as grammar rules and vocabulary lists. It was a holistic transformation, affecting not just his language skills but his overall self-perception. He continued to listen English from diverse sources, refining his ear and expanding his understanding of different accents. He realized that the richness of the language lay in its variety, and embracing this diversity only made him a more versatile and effective communicator across different contexts. The observation of how other people talk in English shifted from envy to appreciation. He could now analyze their speech patterns, not with despair, but with a learner's eye, picking up new tricks and insights to incorporate into his own growing linguistic repertoire. It was an empowering perspective. His initial query, "I don't want to make mistake but I always why," was now met with a knowing smile. He understood that mistakes were inevitable parts of the learning curve, signals of active engagement rather than signs of failure. They were proof he was trying, growing, and pushing his boundaries. The former daily day's struggle had evolved into a fulfilling daily practice. English was no longer a burden but an enjoyable challenge, a puzzle he delighted in solving. Each day brought new opportunities to communicate, to learn, and to connect with others on a deeper level. He found immense joy in the small victories, understanding a fast-paced movie dialogue, telling a joke that landed, or successfully navigating a nuanced discussion. These moments affirmed his progress and kept him motivated, proving that his consistent effort was indeed yielding tangible and rewarding results. His advice to others seeking how to improve your English would be simple: start with consistent listening. Immerse yourself in the language daily, allowing your ears to become accustomed to its sounds and rhythms. This foundational step is often underestimated, yet it is profoundly transformative, paving the way for fluency. Then, actively listen and practice, repeating what you hear, even if only to yourself. This active engagement bridges the gap between passive reception and active production, strengthening your muscle memory for speaking. It's the critical bridge from comprehension to confident verbal expression, essential for progress. And most importantly, learn how to talk in English without fear. Embrace every mistake as a crucial learning moment, a stepping stone on your path to fluency. Your errors are not signs of failure, but markers of your courage and dedication, proving you are actively engaged in the challenging process. He remembered the initial overwhelming feeling of how to learn English when he first started. It seemed like an insurmountable mountain. But by breaking it down into manageable steps, focusing on daily habits, and celebrating incremental progress, he found that the peak was indeed reachable. The journey had been arduous, filled with moments of doubt and frustration, a true test of his resilience. Yet, looking back, he wouldn't change a thing. Every stumble, every hesitant word, had contributed to the confident speaker he had become, forging character as much as skill. He felt a deep sense of accomplishment, not just in his improved English, but in the personal growth that accompanied it. He had faced his fears head-on, pushed beyond his comfort zone, and emerged stronger, more resilient, and infinitely more capable than he had ever imagined, a profound transformation. The world had literally opened up to him. Conversations with people from diverse backgrounds were no longer intimidating but enriching. He could now connect with cultures and ideas previously inaccessible, expanding his horizons in ways he had never dreamt possible before this journey. He often reflected on his past self, trapped in silence and fear, constantly asking, "I don't want to make mistake, but I always why?" He wished he could tell that past self that it would all be okay, that persistence was the true magic ingredient, far more potent than any talent. His daily day's struggle was no longer about English alone. It had become a broader metaphor for overcoming any challenge in life. The lessons learned in language acquisition had seeped into his general outlook, fostering a growth mindset that embraced obstacles as opportunities for learning. He understood now that observing how other people talk in English was a valuable learning tool, not a source of despair. It provided models for pronunciation, intonation, and natural phrasing that he could consciously internalize and adapt to his own speaking style, guiding his progress. To truly learn how to talk in English, one must embrace vulnerability. It means stepping out, making noise, and not being afraid of imperfection. Only through active participation, through putting oneself out there, does genuine progress and fluency begin to take root and flourish. His advice for how to improve your fluency included finding a genuine passion for the language itself. When learning feels like an exploration rather than a chore, motivation sustains itself, making the journey enjoyable and the effort feel less burdensome, truly accelerating progress. He became an informal mentor to friends struggling with their English. He shared his story, emphasizing the importance of listen and practice, and the need to shed the fear of mistakes. His personal journey served as a powerful testament to the effectiveness of these strategies. He encouraged them to listen English consistently, finding content they genuinely enjoyed. He stressed that learning should be engaging, not just academic. When listening becomes a pleasure, not a task, retention improves dramatically, and the language acquisition process becomes organic. His own experience with How to Improve Your English had been transformative. It wasn't just about vocabulary or grammar anymore. It was about self-discovery, resilience, and the power of consistent effort. It was a holistic journey that enriched his life in countless unforeseen ways. The echoes of "I don't want to make mistake but I always why" were now distant, replaced by a quiet confidence. He still made errors occasionally, but they no longer paralyzed him. Instead, they were minor bumps on a smooth road, easily navigated and quickly forgotten. His journey demonstrated that how other people talk in English is not an unreachable ideal, but a result of consistent, dedicated effort and strategic practice. Anyone can achieve significant improvement by following a disciplined yet adaptive approach to language learning over time. He realized that fluency wasn't about sounding exactly like a native speaker, but about expressing oneself clearly, confidently, and naturally. It was about effective communication, building connections, and sharing ideas without significant mental barriers. This realization brought immense peace. He now spoke English not just because he had to, but because he genuinely enjoyed it. The language had become an integral part of his identity, a bridge to new experiences and understanding. His voice, once hesitant, now carried a newfound authority and charm. His story was a living embodiment of the "listen and practice" mantra. From timid observer to confident communicator, he had proven that patience, persistence, and practical application were the true keys to unlocking linguistic potential and achieving remarkable fluency. So, if you're struggling, remember Leo's journey. Embrace your daily struggle. Commit to listen English and practice, and understand that how to improve your English is within your grasp. Don't fear mistakes, they are your guides to becoming fluent.